Hey, Hickok45 here. Or is it Babyface Nelson? Or maybe Machine Gun Kelly? Not sure. One or the other. Either way, we have a Thompson submachine gun. Doesn't take long to empty a 25 or 30 round magazine. Oh man, this is something else. Let me bring it over here and let you take a look at it here. A couple of empty magazines there. We have a couple of these things, and the barrel got hot for some reason there. And we'll talk a little bit about them and how they've evolved. I don't know everything there is to know about the Thompson submachine gun, but I know enough to be dangerous. Well, I don't want to be dangerous with them, but you know what I mean. This one's kind of a 1921 configuration. They've done some stamping on it to make it more authentic looking and everything. And this is more the 1928 A1 model, okay, with some of the changes that were made at that point. And then as we got into World War II, there were even further changes to make them simpler to manufacture and cheaper and faster, you know, to manufacture during the war, which typically happens. And I don't know about you, but I was really always under the impression up until recently that the ones used in World War II, those were the ultimate Thompson. Those were the coolest. Now they might be, you know, to you or me, but actually the originals, and this is more like the original, you know, the 1921 version, they were really works of art. And they were expensive to make. They had this friction delayed recoil system using a little bronze piece in there and all this kind of thing. I mean, John Thompson figured all that out, how to make them reliable and to work. You know, the fins on the barrel, and beautifully finished, you know, bluing and everything. So actually the ones that were used in World War II were simplified, and they made modifications. They put the bolt over on the side instead of the top, and some other things I'll remind you of later. They put a simpler, cheaper rear sight on them and all that. So actually the ones you see in the, I guess in most of the movies, or the World War II models, are a lesser gun in a lot of ways. So these, actually the older ones are the cooler ones, really. The ones from the gangster era of the Roaring 20s, okay? And that's what comes to mind when you see this, isn't it? You see that vertical grip? I mean, it does for me. You know, the fins on the barrel, which help cool it. The compensator on the end, the top bolt handle, all that. I mean, this is the Roaring 20s, the gangster, John Dillinger, Babyface Nelson, as I mentioned. It was it's what we see in the movies, and it's what was used a great deal back in the day of the motorized bandits, as they called them, you know, because they could run around the country. It's kind of like the Wild West in a way, because you know, Bonnie and Clyde and all those motorized bandits, they could run around and rob a bank and have you know, incredible firepower like this, jump in their car and have a fast car, and they could get away. There were no radios to call ahead and head them off and all that sort of thing. So just like coming out of the bank, getting on your horse and taking off, you know, in 1880. So that's the reason for that. If you've seen a lot of those movies, you've read about that era at all, it seems like kind of weird, you know, how'd they get by with that and how'd they do that? Just ride into town and shoot up the town, and they would shoot people, shoot the police, and they would just take off. You know, with enough firepower, they mainly just had to overcome whatever resistance they had from citizens or the police, and if they got out of town, they might have been clear, you know. So it was just a different time, you know. Technology took care of a lot of that, but it was a very interesting time period.